just take the word lots out.
You don't need to I brought my other pair of pencils now.
Yes.
It said they're 2 weeks ago. That's a good job. Try to distract them.
Here, I'll loan you.
I don't think you. We get it back. Hey, Ron.
Yeah, we're starting to play on.
Yeah, the first time we played on
No one's coming from over there. The phone ringing.
I can't hear mine, I don't know why.
Oh, really?
I have a siren.
Probably from the same guy.
So I got a siren now.
Well, I drove here and I saw all these farmers up in the field area. They're all standing in their field. Oh, yeah.
What a nice guy. Look at that. He ran over just to help us.
I thought I good, good, you, good.
Todd, they extended the deadline for fuel application for charges. How are you going to get in on that? Admin. Whatever. That committee. That was nicely covered.
It's been a guy.
Imagine
Good evening, County Board Supervisors, staff, and guests. Please sign in for roll call.
Push your sign over. We got this. We got this. Oh, you got hit.
Supervisor Lochran, did you call in?
Get present.
Good.
Yeah. First was sign in, then you got to say you're here.
this time.
Nicholas is
Supervisor Kesler, are you in?
Oh, there he is. He just hasn't figured out how the machine works. Push the button.
Please press your present button. There you go.
Except Nick. Yeah, he can't get online.
Looks like we got everybody here tonight. I know.
Oh, he's here.
Oh, we are. Okay. Everybody in? Okay. All right, we have 21 present, 0 absent, so we have enough to start our meeting. We're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance tonight, and I'd like you to stand in a memory of Melvin Meyer, who was a large volunteer at Ledgeview Nature Center, and Eric Zastro, who was a member and employee of our IT department, and also for remembrance of all the veterans who served their country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd also like to extend a thank you for your service to all the veterans of our supervisors, staff, and county staff that are here this evening. All right, I have a motion by Supervisor Booty and Supervisor Steer to approve the agenda. Please vote your ballot. And we have 21 yes, 0 no. We have a majority, so the agenda has been approved. You have the minutes of the 4/18/23 meeting. If there are no additions or corrections, I have a motion by Supervisor Diedrich and a second by Supervisor Steer to approve those minutes. Please vote your ballot. (21) yes, 0 nay, 0 absent, and 0 abstain. The minutes have been approved. Are there any communications?
We have one communication, which is a disclosure of intent letter from Nicholas Kesler, District 12 Supervisor.
And we'll place that on file. Public participation? There is none. All right, special business. David Macko, our Finance Director, will present the 2022 Sales Tax Annual Report. You have a copy of that in your packet.
Okay, thank you. The 2022 sales tax report is designed to show revenues collected through the sales tax, expenditures, and available funds at the end of our fiscal year. So page 26 just shows that in each of the years the sales tax has been in effect. It has grown in size. It's really an indication of the economic conditions within the county that we've seen growing sales tax. Page 2 looks at what our monthly collections are. So you can see it's compared to budget. So each year we continually exceed our budget. As I indicated, admin services, we do budget conservatively just to make sure that we have the funds available to appropriate when we adopt a budget. But we continue to see collections in excess of our annual or our monthly budget. The third page, page 28, really shows the expenditures. So you can see we spent a little over $3 million, or approximately $3 million this past year on sales tax. Primarily, it supports the county infrastructure, our roads and bridges within the county, but it also supports various different other programs. So cumulative through December 31st, the county has spent about $15.8 million on projects, and it's really the primary source of our capital improvement projects that you can see here. And then the final page really kind of looks at where we are right now. Where were we at December 31st? Some of the monies are projects, are long-term projects, and you carry forward on your annual appropriation carryover resolution. But we currently have about 1.8 million, or almost 1.9, that's really available for future projects that the board can commit through resolution throughout the year. Any questions on the report?
Are there any questions of David? Thank you, David.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to resolutions. Resolution 2023-03.
Resolution to create the Aging and Disability Resource Center of Calumet County, introduced by the Health and Human Services Board.
Right, I need a motion. I have a motion by Supervisor Schwallenberg and a second by Supervisor Voigt. And Supervisor Gens, would you speak to this resolution?
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is with mixed emotion that I do speak to this resolution. In 2006, I was part of a group that looked at bringing together Waupaca County and Outagamie, along with Calumet, forming one ADRC, and I chaired that for a number of years, and we benefited greatly, I think, by our membership with it. Now, Waupaca County has opted to exit, and it looks like Outagamie County would follow, and so it brings us at this point to approve a resolution that will reestablish, I guess, an ADRC here in Calumet County. We can do it. We've done it before. We have great staff, and so that is the resolution before us.
Are there any questions regarding this resolution? I see no request to speak. So the motion is to create the Aging and Disability Resource Center, ADRC, of Calumet County. Please vote your ballot. We have 21 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 0 absent, so that resolution has been adopted. Moving on to Resolution 2023-4.
Resolution to create 50 full-time equivalents in the positions of autism spectrum disorder consultant, occupational therapist, paraprofessional, speech-language pathologist, school-to-work transition coordinator, and special education teacher in the Calumet County Department of Administration, introduced by the Administrative Services Committee.
All right, I have a motion by Supervisor Schwallenberg and a second by Supervisor Diedrich. And Supervisor Gens, would you speak to this resolution?
Thank you. I would be happy to, Madam Chair. This bill did approve moving in the direction of providing for the special needs program for 5 of our school districts. And this resolution now establishes the positions that will be necessary to carry out that assignment, I guess. And so that's what we're doing. We're establishing 50 full-time equivalent positions for that program, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Gens. Are there any questions regarding this resolution? I have no request to speak. So the motion is to create 50 full-time equivalent FTE in positions for the Calumet County Department of Administration for the Disabilities Program. Please vote your ballot. We have 21 yes, 0 nay, 0 abstain, 0 absent, so that resolution has been adopted. Moving on to Ordinances 2023-01.
Ordinance to amend Chapter 82 zoning code on certain property in the town of BRILLION, property of Nicholas Steffes, introduced by the Planning, Zoning, and Farmland Preservation Committee.
May I have a motion for that ordinance? I have a motion by Supervisor Clark and a second by Supervisor Steer. And Supervisor Huffsberger, would you speak to this resolution, please?
Certainly, thank you, Madam Chair. Nick Steffes is requesting to rezone approximately 23 acres from exclusive ag to general ag in the town of BRILLION. The subject property was previously an auto salvage yard and classified as a brownfield site that is in the process of being cleaned up. The property contains a large area of wooded wetlands and land disturbance from the current cleanup that makes it not prime for farmland. The request is consistent with the town and county comprehensive plans and the farmland preservation plan. Chris is available if we have some specific questions on it.
Are there any questions regarding this ordinance? I see no request to speak. So the motion will be to amend Chapter 82 zoning code on certain property in the town of BRILLION, property of Nicholas Steffes, excuse me. Please vote your ballot. We have 21 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 0 absent, so that ordinance has been adopted. Moving on to Ordinance 2023-02.
Ordinance to amend Chapter 82 zoning code on certain property in the town of Charlestown, property of Kyle Moschel, introduced by the Planning, Zoning, and Farmland Preservation Committee.
All right, I have a motion by Supervisor Steer and a second by Supervisor Clark. And Supervisor Huffberger, would you speak to this ordinance?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kyle Moschel is requesting to rezone approximately 4.33 acres from exclusive ag to general ag in the town of Charleston. The parcel is primarily wooded and currently contains split zoning. The proposed rezone would correct the split zoning and allow the applicant to operate an electrical business on site. The request is consistent with the town and county comprehensive plans and the farmland preservation plan. Chris is available for specific questions.
Are there any questions regarding this ordinance? I see no request to speak, so please, the motion will be to amend Chapter 82 zoning code on certain property in the town of Charlestown, property of Kyle Moschel. Please vote your ballot. We have 21 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, 0 absent. That ordinance has been adopted. Moving on to the supervisor reports. And in these reports, I know that certain supervisors were invited to talk to Representative Tussler. And if you'd like to disclose some of the things that you talked about or how that visit went, please do it now. Please push your request to speak. I have 3. Supervisor Booty.
Thank you. Good evening. On Thursday, May 4th, the Highway Committee had attended the Wisconsin County Highway Association's Northeast Regional Commissioner and Committee member meeting that was held at the Tufte Center on the grounds of Road America in Plymouth. In addition to hearing from Wisconsin DOT staff and from State Senator Devin Lemieux regarding the budget process, we had some presentations regarding asphalt pavement maintenance and a brief history of the Road America facilities themselves. Some non-technical things that you may be noticing in the near future is that the Wisconsin DOT is going to be moving from a 4-inch wide pavement marking in the center line to 6-inch wide pavement markings. So if you see the lines looking wider, that is because this DOT is moving to a new standard. Another thing you'll be noticing in the near future is that the Wisconsin DOT anticipates that construction of the expansion on Interstate Highway 41 between Appleton and De Pere should start happening in the year 2024 and will continue through year 2030, everything permitting. So be aware of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Booty. Supervisor Boyd.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I attended the Wisconsin Aging Advocacy Day held by GWAR in Madison on Tuesday last week. Sorry, things have been very busy lately. Some of the things that we were advocating for was an increase to the ADRC budgets because they have not been increased since 2006. We also were looking at increased funding for caregiver support. If you aren't aware, the average caregiver spends about $7,000 out of their own pockets to care for their loved ones that are either disabled or elderly. So that was something that was very important that we discussed. We also looked at things about like homebound meal funding, which hasn't had an increase in over 20 years, and stuff within, there was a lot of things. I did not bring all of it with me, but I took some notes. We did meet with Senator Andre Jacques' staff, and while Senator Jacques was not present, his staffer did have him speak on the phone with us. He was in support of increasing funding for the ADRC and support of also increasing funding for homebound meals. He did say that he has no say really at this point of what goes on in the budget, but if it comes forward to him and it has any of these increases in it, he would be willing to sign that. I also, we had Supervisor Walker on with me as well that day, which was great, and we spoke with State Representative Ron Tussler's staffer. Ron Tussler was not available, but she took down our notes and what we had to say very diligently and said she would pass them along to him on that. So it was a good day. And that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Schwallenberg?
Thank you, Madam Chair. You all have a copy that I spoke of last month of the Health and Human Services report. So you can see the services that we offer. If you have any constituents, if you don't want to keep it, pass it around. I don't know about you, but sometimes I have people come up to me and say, I don't know what to do about this. You can refer to that, or at least have them call. Because our staff did an excellent job on preparing this, and it gets better every year. For Human Services, we had a discussion about the Delta products. That was a letter that was referred to us from the county board last month, and we will be continuing to gather some more data about the Delta products, plus about the Kaukauna ordinance that was passed by the city of Kaukauna. REACH, which is our youth coalition group for education for alcohol and drug abuse, is going to be working with our 4-H members to develop an escape room that will be opened sometime this fall, and they're going to have it open to the public. So this is quite a good concept of getting these two youth groups together. Those of you who may have not seen REACH's group mock bedroom, that was asked about at our last meeting. They're going to be having that mock bedroom at the Sheriff's National Night Out, which is July 31st, and it will also be at BRILLION's National Night Out on August 3rd. Both of these are family events, but the bedroom is only for adults. So REACH will also provide an area for your children to do some activity while you go in and see for yourself ways that things can be hidden in kids' bedrooms. We were also introduced to Tracy Edmondson. She's our dementia care specialist who works with the ADRC. She's very passionate about her job and comes with several years of actual experience caring for a family member who had dementia. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me. I would like to compliment our chair on her article in WCA's magazine.
Thank you.
Sorry, thank you.
We do have an awesome board. Supervisor Henschke.
Thank you, Madam President. As far as meeting with Ron, I think the biggest takeaway I got was that as they develop, the state legislature develops the budget, that they're going to reformulate the shared revenue formula. It has not been redone for, I don't know, I think it's decades. So a lot of municipalities are going to see a significant increase in revenue sharing from the state. So the Village of Harrison, who I majority represent, had $500,000 in shared revenue in 2022. They're slated, 2023. The next budget, Village of Harrison is slated to get $400,000 of shared revenue. So that was something that I think both the governor and the legislature seem to be on board with, is giving the municipalities a greater share of the shared revenue. So I'm not sure if anybody else talked around about that, but I think that's significant, especially in our area when we talk about our municipalities and making sure that they get a larger portion of the shared revenue. Thank you.
All right, Supervisor Holschuh.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On May 2nd, I was able to attend a seminar up in Warsaw. It was for PFAS. If you aren't familiar with that, that is a chemical that is used in foam for putting out fires. It's in Gore-Tex. It's in wrappers from your fast food restaurants. And it is a chemical that is forever. It never goes away. So they're all working, there's lots of action going on trying to figure out a way to get rid of it. Now, Wausau had it in their water, so they were able to get some carbon filters that work to their water system. But the trouble is, where do they dispose of these carbon filters? Because you can't burn them because they go in the air and then they come down again. It's a real problem. I do know that there is a bill, LRB 2936/2 in our Senate right now that does, I'm looking for the word, sorry. It does, they're going to look at this problem, and I didn't read it yet, but I plan to read it, and I want to know how far it goes, because my feeling on it is the way to really stop it is to quit manufacturing it, period. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Hulshof. I have just a couple things. I was notified by Kyle Christensen from WCA yesterday that on Thursday, the Joint Finance Committee will be speaking to the DNR budget. In the DNR budget, and you've heard me talk about this, is 2 positions that would work directly with the Lake Winnebago project that our county, Winnebago, Fond du Lac, and Waushara County are contributing to get Lake Winnebago cleaned up. They'll work on the waterways, they'll work on clean water, etc. And as I note, Outagamie County does take water from this lake. But there is a bill, it's AB, Assembly Bill 43. If you take that down, please. And Senate Bill 70. I would like each one of you to contact your representatives either today or tomorrow and ask them to support this bill, these bills. It's very important that we get these 2 positions. These 2 positions were with the DNR, but they retired and they never were filled. So now, with a lot of work behind the scenes from myself and the steering committee of the 3 counties, Lake Winnebago projects, we are finally getting a bill there. I have talked to Senator Lemieux, I've talked to Senator Tittle, I talked to Representative Bowden, and I've also contacted Representative Jock's office. That's as far as I got as far as legislatures. I do have Chad Casper, who's the land and water person from Winnebago County. He's contacting the steering committee people to call, and I've just been asking everybody I know to call their representatives. Please do that. We need these 2 positions to carry on this Lake Winnebago project. It would certainly be a big help, and please do that for me, would you? Thank you. Supervisor Gleckner.
I only want to ask the number of that Senate bill you were just talking about. AB what?
AB 43, Senate Bill 70.
AB
43.
43?
Yes,
Okay.
and that's all I have, and there is no more people to speak. So moving on to the county administrator's report, were there any questions regarding his report? If not, we'll move on. Our next regular meeting will be June 20th at 7 p.m. We will now go into closed session, so I will need a roll call vote for that closed session. I have a motion by Supervisor Diedrich and a second by Supervisor Steer. And would you please vote yes or no or whatever? Please vote yes or no or abstain. We have 21 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain, and 0 abstain.
Thanks, John.
Are you going to start us out?